Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, I'm going to be providing an update on a company that we've covered on the channel previously. The company name is Odd Burger. They just put up record sales in the month of October. There's a ton of cool stuff going on that I'm excited to talk about in today's video. Before we get into it, please take a second, hit the like button. It's a huge help to both myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And let me know in the comment section below if you're holding shares of Odd Burger, if you've tried any of their products or been to any of their restaurants, and how you think they stack up to some of the others in this space. Now without further ado, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, we're going to be providing an update on Odd Burger Corporation. This is a stock that we initially covered on the channel about a month ago. Trades under the ticker symbol ODD on the Toronto Venture Exchange. They're also listed in the US. I'm going to show you that ticker in a second here. This is a super exciting company involved in the vegan fast food space. We're going to talk about what it is exactly they do, along with some big news that just came out in relation to some record sales from the company in the month of October. So they've been aggressively expanding their store count. Obviously, that has a direct impact on top line revenue, and that's exactly what we're starting to see materialize for the team at Odd Burger. Now, before we get into it, I did want to bring up the chart. So our initial video, when we covered Odd Burger, they were trading just over $1. They have pulled back a little bit. You can see they're now trading in the low 90-cent, 92-cent Canadian range. And really, ever since the start of May, when they were trading above $1.50, they have been on a gradual decline. And I think this really is starting to present a very good buying opportunity or entrance into this stock if this is something you're looking to gain exposure to in your portfolio. We've talked about a number of these plant-based protein or vegan type of companies on the channel. Very Good Food Company, Tattooed Chef, and most recently the Eat Well Group. But Odd Burger really adds some flair or differentiates itself in the sense that they're focused on the fast food segment of this industry. Now, market cap on these guys is well below the $100 million Canadian mark, so it is, in every sense of the word, a true penny stock. You really are getting in at the ground floor here, you guys, and you're getting in prior to some of this aggressive growth. Odd Burger is actually targeting 20 locations up and operational by next year, some of them even in the United States. So a lot of growth ahead of this company, and the investment community has really yet to take note, despite some of the impressive numbers that we're going to talk about later in today's presentation. Now, as promised, here's the listing on the US side of things. So this is on the OTC exchange, Odd Burger Corporation, ticker symbol GBLYF. So if you're looking to invest through an American brokerage, this is your opportunity to do so. And you can see on the US side of things, they're sitting in the mid 70s, 74 cents per share in terms of last week's close. So for those of you who missed my last video, my deep dive analysis on Odd Burger's business model, I would definitely recommend you go back and take a look. This is in a nutshell what the company does here, you guys. They're a fast food chain that's focused on vegan alternatives. You can see on the landing page on their website here, a real variety of products that are offered, ranging from wraps, onion rings, fries, breakfast sandwiches, crispy chicken sandwiches, which seem to be all the craze with every single fast food chain right now, even to traditional burgers that emulate a lot of our favorite fast food chains that have been in existence for years and years. Now you can see Brampton and Whitby are new locations that were just announced, so super exciting news there. We're going to talk about some of these locations again later in the presentation. But this gives you a look and feel for some of the products that are offered at the various Odd Burger restaurant locations. Now, the thing that's super interesting for me in relation to Odd Burger here is it's not just the fact that they're a vegan or plant-based protein type of company involved in the fast food space, but they really span the entire spectrum from food development or creation. Obviously, they've got the retail component there, but they're really innovative and they've got a strong foothold on the technology side of things as well, and are actually leveraging robots in these retail locations to maximize efficiency. And in some cases, they're able to actually operate their restaurants with only a single employee. So you can imagine the cost savings there. You don't have to pay salaries, benefits, overhead. Not to mention the fact that a lot of people want to go in and see this technology in action because it really is first of its kind in the restaurant or fast food industry. And that's exactly what this slide talks about here. So you can see they've got 3 real pillars within the business: the restaurants themselves, the food. So they actually develop this food or their menu items in-house, which we're going to look at in a second. And then the third component here is the technology or the robots that they're deploying in these restaurant locations. Now, in terms of the food manufacturing, they've got 29 unique plant-based products specially designed for their food service use. These are organic, non-GMO alternatives, so things like chickpeas, wheat, oats, and beans, and they're focused on various different product categories like chicken, beef, pork, egg, cheese, and even creamy sauces. So really very comparable to what you're going to get at other fast food chains, but with the healthier or vegan-based selection. So now that we've taken a look at what it is Odd Burger actually does and the way they've differentiated themselves both on the technology side and on the actual menu side from some of the other competitors in the fast food space, I wanted to talk about some of the news that's just recently come out here in relation to their business. So this came out on October 28th, and the article reads, Odd Burger set to expand to 10 locations with new Ontario restaurants in Brampton and Whitby. And that's exactly what we saw on the company's landing page on their website. Now, if you scroll down in the article here, you can see Odd Burger Corporation, one of the world's first vegan fast food chains to be publicly available to trade, today announced it's going to open 2 new locations, both of which are located in the province of Ontario in early 2022, which are going to bring their locally made and again plant-based burgers, fries, shakes to the markets of Brampton and Whitby. Now, based on this expansion or these 2 additional stores, that's going to get the overall store count up to 10. This company has stated that they have a goal of 20 restaurants to be in operation by this time next year. So super exciting. This is the big growth or exponential growth that I was talking about in the intro there. Now, they've also targeted Western expansion, which we actually talked about in the previous video. They've signed a franchise agreement in my hometown of Calgary, Alberta. I'm super excited to go try out these products. I'm actually traveling to Toronto later this month, so I'm definitely going to be making a point to go to an Odd Burger location and try out some of these various menu items, but extremely excited to have one of these locations in my hometown so I can go on a more regular basis. Now, that being said, the Calgary, Alberta franchise is still seeking a location, so they haven't actually started construction, but definitely exciting to see what's coming down the pipeline here. And in addition to these 10 sites based in Canada, they're actually in active negotiations for a flagship US location in Manhattan, New York. And I think that's really going to be a huge game changer for Odd Burger once they're able to expand outside of Canada. Now, the CEO, James McInnes, gives his thoughts on this news release. Meeting our expansion goals is not only about building our company and brand, but also a pathway to transform fast food into a healthier, more sustainable industry. As we grow, we are making it easy and affordable for people to access fast food that is better for our planet and our bodies. And that's really been the core mission of this organization ever since they were back in their food truck days here, you guys, is to bring healthy alternatives to the general public in an affordable and convenient manner. Now, as we continue to scroll through the article, you can see some of the specifics in regards to these 2 new locations. So on the Brampton side of things, this is 1,031 square foot location, so very small square footage in terms of restaurants or fast food chains. And again, that's because they've been able to optimize or automate a lot of those internal processes within the kitchen. They also have virtual tellers or self-ordering kiosks, so they don't have a need for actual cash registers or tills within these locations. So that's phenomenal again to see. We mentioned the projected opening date is early 2022, so next year. And what's interesting here, you guys, is this is one of the GTA or Greater Toronto Area's busiest commercial nodes and will serve Brampton's 600,000 plus residents. So very high traffic location here, Airport Road in Brampton, Ontario. And obviously this is going to have a big impact on the company's top line revenue. The Whitby location, located in a grocery anchored commercial real estate development. So they've got a Walmart, a liquor store, Real Canadian Superstore, all within the same complex. Again, 1,000 square foot location, so relatively small, with a projected opening date in early 2022. So in summary, 2 new locations, both in great locations here, you guys, and should be a big addition to the portfolio of stores that Oddburger has within their organization. And if we jump over to the investor presentation, this is exactly what they referred to in their medium-term expansion strategy. At the time this was put together, they had 9 locations on the roadmap, so they needed an additional 11 to be on pace for that 20 operational locations by 2022 or summer of 2022. And now with these 2 new stores, they're going to be halfway to that goal. Now the next piece of news I wanted to cover in today's update video is actually in relation to record sales that the company reported for the month of October. As you can imagine, as COVID restrictions are starting to lift and more locations are starting to be completed or come online for Oddburger, that should have a material impact on top line revenue, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. So this article came out on November 3rd announcing record system-wide sales in October 2021 of more than $233,000 Canadian dollars, a 41% increase over the previous month. So that's very impressive growth here, you guys. Part of that is new stores coming online. Part of that is more foot traffic and elimination of COVID restrictions, but huge month-over-month increase. And if you're to expand that $233,000 or $233,000 on an annualized basis, you're looking at about $2.8 million. So the numbers here, or the revenue that Oddburger is starting to put up, definitely is becoming material. And I think the investment community is going to start to take note of this company in very short order. Now, as we scroll down, you can see these new locations, so Vaughan, London, Waterloo, and Hamilton, obviously contributed to these record sales or record success. The chain had 5 fully operational locations in October, plus a 6th that opened right at the tail end, or October 27th. So this is essentially half of the store count that they have planned right now, or the full 10 locations. The new locations have been welcomed by the communities and have launched with tremendous success. We're going to look at this company's social media in a second here. Very well followed, you guys. Average Google review rating of 4.9 stars, which is phenomenal. And one thing that's super important in the food industry, or fast food industry specifically, is making that great first impression. If people go to your restaurant and they have a bad experience or bad food, they're going to tell their friends, they're not going to go back, and it can really snowball in a big way, whether that's a positive or negative experience. So the fact that they're able to maintain a near perfect Google review rating really speaks to the company's quality and customer service. Now, we already talked about the new locations in Brampton and Whitby, so we won't spend any more time there. Once again, James McInnes chimes in, these strong sales and successful openings show us that we're winning new customers and fans wherever we go, which we see as fuel for continued expansion. These past few months have proven that we're able to scale our operations, keep pace with our rapid growth, and with many new locations in the pipeline, we expect to set more records and keep seeing fantastic reviews from our customers. Now, the other thing that I'll mention here, and this is crucially important, we've seen a lot of global supply chain issues in light of the pandemic situation. And because Oddburger manufactures or produces a lot of these menu items in-house, the company has been able to prevent any significant interruption in supply over the last couple of quarters. And that's exactly what they mention here. As the company scales restaurant operations, controlling its own supply chain enables the company, or Oddburger, to keep up with demand and increase manufacturing capacity to prevent any of those supply interruptions. So I think that's super important, and this is really a strong operational advantage or way they've differentiated themselves from some of the other fast food chains or restaurants that compete in this space. Now, speaking of customer reviews and social media, you can see here the Oddburger Fast Food Instagram account, 27,000 followers here, you guys. So super engaging and well-followed company within these communities. And if we actually jump over to Instagram itself, you can see here they've gained a couple hundred followers since that investor presentation was put together. I personally follow Oddburger myself. The posts, you guys, are phenomenal. As you scroll down here, you can see they're very interactive, very colorful, really grab people's attention, and it's a great way for Oddburger to interact with their customers and essentially get free marketing in all of these markets in which they operate. Now, to close things out here, I did want to quickly touch on some of the numbers. So this is from their most recent investor presentation. The chart here has 2 different components. Number 1 is the orange line. That shows the number of restaurants that were currently open within the given month or quarter. So you can see, due to the pandemic situation here, they range from 2 to 3 locations that were up and operational in any given month. The blue bars here is actually the quarterly revenue. So you can see the most recent quarter that ended June of 2021, revenue came in right around that $250,000 mark. So the fact that they were actually able to put up $233,000 in the month of October alone is very impressive here and definitely something to take note of. And this is actually their most recent quarterly filing or financial results for the 9-month period, or Q3, which ended June 30, 2021. You can see the total revenue, $257,000, which we just mentioned. The one thing I wanted to call your attention to, they did record a large net loss of $3.5 million, but if you look more closely into that, that was related to a one-time listing expense, which equates to about $2.5 million. So the vast majority of that loss was actually due to this reverse takeover of Black Lion Capital Corporation, which allowed Oddburger or enabled them to attain a TSX Venture listing and the subsequent IPO offering. Now this article was put out August 30th, so we should expect to see their next round of financial statements within the next month or two here. Super excited to see how that lands, you guys. As mentioned, this company has huge growth ahead of them. They're starting to put up some material revenue numbers, and I think this is a really cool way to play the vegan or plant-based protein sector or industry. So for those reasons, I'm super excited about Oddburger. At this point in time, for full disclosure, I do not hold any shares, but this is definitely one that's on the top of my watch list. And I should mention, you guys, there's a ton of great additional information available at the Oddburger website. I'll link it in the video description below. That's it for today's video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you leave a comment in the section below. Let me know what you think of Oddburger, if you've been to any of these locations and actually tried out any of their menu items. If you're still watching the video at this point in time, hopefully you found some value, so make sure you hit the like button on your way out. If you're not subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And on a final note, you guys, thanks so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.